Hi, mystery writers. Welcome to our kind of impromptu session today. I was very, very sick over the weekend when I'm normally getting ready for this, so no planning, no emails went out to you, don't notify you. But what I thought I'd talk about today is what readers want in a scene. Now, readers don't even know they want this, they just feel something's off when it's not there. And what that is change within the scene. And that scenes are the building blocks of our story, right? We go scene by scene. The reader at least goes scene by scene through the story. And what keeps them interested is the change within the scene. Jane Friedman said stories are about change. And so if we add change in every scene, we're keeping our readers interested. And and we do that with conflict and resolution. And without conflict, there's no story. And so let's talk about what those reader targets are in the scene. Every scene has a story arc. I've talked about this before. Each scene is a mini story, as it were. And the purpose of the scene is to move the story forward. So for readers, that means keeping them engaged as your story unfolds. So there's 4 reader emotional targets to involve your reader. One is the story plot, all right? You know the purpose of the scene within the overall story. The purpose of the scene is to reveal the protagonist's lifelong practice of martial arts, to provide motivation for knowing when and how to fight. That's just an example, all right? And then another is the character. What are the feelings about the character the reader has at the beginning of the scene and the end of the scene? For example, when the reader finishes the scene, they're going to feel empathy for the protagonist of the scene, but be skeptical. Can't talk. Be skeptical of your protagonist's ability to achieve what she wants. All right. So we have the story plot, the character, and we also have the theme of the story, what your reader thinks at the end of the scene. So, for example, at the end of the scene, the reader will think that the protagonist has good observational skills but is using them incorrectly. And then we have the conflict, the suspense, all right? At the end of the scene, the audience, your reader, will wonder, what will he or she do next? You want to raise that question. Um, will the protagonist overcome the political forces against him? So we're raising a question at the end of the scene, and we're doing that because we want the reader to wonder, right? And to keep reading. Yes, okay. So when you're in the flow of writing, it's not difficult to miss one of those 4 reader targets: the story, the character, the theme, or the conflict. So one of the ways you want to check your scenes as you go back and edit is to make sure all of those 4 elements are in your scene. So let's talk a little bit about ways to create change in the scene, because that's what readers want. They want to change from the beginning of the scene to the end of the scene, all right? Um, And the change evolves around your characters. This is one of the ways that characters enliven your story, no matter what the plot of your mystery is. Um, the characters are the ones that create the change in the story that keep your readers reading. So they can be pulled out of their comfort zone. Um, they do something that complicates the situation. They make a decision. They take action on the decision. Or they may describe what the action or decision means to them. In other words, the scene represents an event in the story. And for mystery writers, when a detective evaluates the knowledge he has so far from evidence and clues, he's making a change. And the change is his decision to act on that knowledge. Excuse me, as you can see, I'm not quite well yet. So, you want to think about events. So, you want to incorporate event thinking for you as the writer. Um, the simplest way to illustrate change in a scene is to build it around an event. In one scene, your detective evaluates information and makes a decision. And in the follow-up scene, your detective takes action on the decision. Oh, he may interview a new suspect or talk again to a character with the conversation based on that new information or the new way that your detective interprets the information. Let's see. Um, I think that's about it that I wanted to cover today, and just keep thinking about change. Every scene is a story event, so you want to create change in your scene. If you focus on the event and the change that happens around the event, you'll know how your scene moves the story forward. Beginning writers are going to save yourself a lot of writing outtake scenes that need to be cut. If you just think about this, if you think about the change that needs to occur in your scene, and every scene is a bridge between your reader and the story, right? So we have all these things to balance as mystery writers. We have the plot, how your detective uncovers the villain, right? And we have the characters and their development, and this is what um, engages our readers emotionally, is how our characters react in the scene, and this is what involves your reader emotionally. So we have the logic of our plot, and we have the emotional involvement of the character, and we want to put those two together in our scene. And just move your story forward, and you'll keep your readers reading. All right, thank you so much. I apologize for this very impromptu event, but I just haven't been up to speed the last few days. I hope this helps, and keep writing. All right, thank you.